There are events in everybody's life which are so bad that you kind of have to come up with like delusions to be able to even cope with them. So for example, the death of someone, or like your whole family dying in a car accident, or anything like that. So for these events, like, of course you're heartbroken, you don't feel like doing anything, you might even feel like killing yourself. But the thing is, you start to cope and realize that it's not that bad. Like, I still have like my two arms, my two legs, and I can still like keep going, I can still keep continuing to live my life. And that's good, and that's exactly what you should do for these kind of events. But the thing is, I don't think people should do that for small things. For small things which can cause a breaking point for someone's growth, you should not be able to think like that, especially in things that are in your control. So, for example, these natural tragedies, right? These aren't in your control. And for them, you should cope with them like this to lessen your suffering and to be able to actually move on with your life. But the thing is, if like if the bad thing is that you're overweight and you can't fucking stop eating or start exercising, then you shouldn't just think about like, oh, it's fine, like I'm fine like this, I'll live my life like then it's actually retarded to think like that. And that's what I'm trying to get at in this video, is that you should make these breaking points and really feel them. Then you're gonna be able to improve. For example, for a drug addict, if he's relapsing for the fifth time and he promised that he would never relapse again, then that is a breaking point and he shouldn't take that lightly. Same thing with a fat guy. If that fat guy is eating junk food for the seventh time this week and he promised that he would watch his diet, then that is the breaking point. And both of these scenarios, that guy should definitely feel terrible about himself. That is only the way that he can improve. So fuck coping for that, because with coping you're prioritizing basically your emotional feelings over progress. But with things like these, progress is more important than coping. So in these scenarios, you should basically know and say to yourself that, okay, I'm a piece of shit that did this thing, or I messed up really bad, or I'm fucking indisciplined that I can't do this thing. But now that's gonna change. So basically you have to mentally allow yourself to think that you're really at the bottom. Because even if you're like slightly above from the bottom, some people, they can't start working on something unless like they really point zero. And that's what's terrible, and that's what you want to mentally get yourself at if you want to improve at something. So for example, for me, getting something like this would be missing my workout 2 days in a row. Like, I have been working out for roughly, you can say, like 3 months or 4 months. Like, I haven't missed any single day. Or maybe if I did, it was like I injured my foot or something. But like, I'm saying like out of laziness, right? So if I do it for 2 days, then because one day it can be like some kind of emergency, but for the second day, then I can realize that, okay, I'm really slacking off. And you can say that I'm being a bit hard on myself, but this is how I will keep exercising. Like, that's the kind of person I am. And I think that's the kind of person, or that's the kind of motivation like most people need to hear, which are just too soft and too indulged with their feelings that they can't even allow themselves to say to them that, okay, I messed up and I'm a terrible person. Or not even like you're a terrible person, you just have to say that you're fucking indisciplined, not disciplined at that thing, and you're lazy, and that you want to improve that. And for some people, like, it can be applied to getting fired from your job. Because if you're already struggling with finances and you're working with a shit job and with a shit boss, and then you finally get fired from that, and now you actually don't know how you're going to survive the next week, that's your breaking point. And if any of your friends or loved ones say that, oh, no worries, it's fine, like, I'll take care of you, reject them. Like, say, no, I'll take care of this myself and I'll turn this around. But when you reach that bottom and you realize that the only way to go from here is up, and that's the difference that I'm trying to get at, that this can also be just mentally, and physically you don't really need to. Because for me, like, I can also skip 3 days, 4 days, but if at day 2 I realize that this is bottom, I have to go up, then I'll really like get up on my game and lock in and try to, never skip a day and work harder than I've ever worked before in my life. And that's when you're actually able to achieve things that you didn't even think were possible. And the number one prime example of this is probably David Goggins. Like, if you read his story, like how fat he was and the insane level of marathons he did with like broken feet, broken bones, broken knees, everything, blood gushing out, and he still did it just because he thought and he said that he would. And that's the kind of motivation that I think you can only get when you realize that you're at rock bottom in your life and you realize that you never want to be here. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.